Problem number 3 on the review for the 5th 6 weeks test says Max earned $2,000 last month. He spent $400 on food, $300 on clothing, $700 on rent, and $200 on savings, and $400 on miscellaneous expenses. Which graph best shows the relationship between the amount of money Max spent on food and his monthly earnings? His monthly earnings is his total earnings was $2,000. So if we want to show how much he spent on food compared to the total, we would want to use a circle graph. It compares parts of the whole. The whole amount he earned is represented by the circle, and the amount he spent on food would be 20%. That's the fraction or the percent that he spent on food compared to all of his earnings altogether. Let's just double check to make sure that amount is right. $400 out of $2,000, that's 4/20ths, which if we multiply by 5, we get 20 over 100, so that is 20%. But the question is really asking you to choose which representation of the data best shows that relationship, and the circle graph would be best. Now, the bar graph in C does compare food to all the other expenses, but it isn't really comparing food to the total. That's the difference between A and C, and that's why the circle graph is better. B, we have a line plot. It shows all of the expenses. Each piece of data is represented on the line plot, but it doesn't really compare the food to the total. And then the stem and leaf plot really serves the same purpose as the line plot. It shows each piece of data individually, but it doesn't help us very well. It isn't the best way to compare the food expense to the total earnings. Problem 4. 5 students in Mrs. Smith's class measured their heights for a project. Their heights are 60 inches, 65 inches, 58 inches, 60 inches, and 64 inches. The 6th student joined the group, making the median and mean of the heights 62 inches. How tall in inches was the 6th student? Well, if the mean is now 62 and we have 6 students, I can just take 62 and multiply by 6 to get the total height of all the students all together. 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 is 37. So when we add in that 6th student, we don't know his height yet, but we know when we add in his height to all the other heights, we should get 372, because we need to have 62 when we divide by 6 when we calculate our mean. So let's find the total height of the 5 students we had before. We have 60 inches, 65, 58, 60, and 64. 5 and 8 is 13, and 4 is 17, carry the 1. 1 and 6 is 7, and 6 is 13, and 5 is 18, and 6 is 24, and 6 is 30. So that's 307. So this student must be 372 minus 307, or 65 inches. But they also told us that the mean was 62, and they told us the median was also 62. So let's line them up from least to greatest and make sure that our median checks out also. The shortest student was 58, and then we have 2 students that were 60 inches. We have 1 student that's 64 inches, and 1 that is 65, and this 6th student is 65 if we did this right. So as I cross off from the ends and find my middle number, I have 60 and 64. The middle of that middle would be 62. Or I could add 60 plus 64, and I get 124. If you divide that by 2, you get 62. So the median is 62, the mean is 62. So our answer, the 6th student, must be 65 inches. Okay, we'll pick up the review with problem 5 on the next video.